Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristin and I'm here with my January series New Year Old Stash, and I'm combining it with Kristin Crafts Baby Got Scraps because I certainly have a lot of scraps. So here I am with some scraps that I'd love to use. I don't use nearly as many as I would like to, but I get some used up and that is the plan. This is from where I cut, I think, a gear or something, and it was the inside of it, so I thought I might try and use that. I've got, like, aliens and outer space, these gears. I am going to be documenting some pictures that aren't necessarily, gear-related, but they're boy-related, and I felt like that was a good way to use these papers. So this is my son and my nephew. They were at a fair at their school years ago, playing in one of those bouncy houses. I have these circles that I cut out on my Cricut the other day for another hop that I think you probably have already seen the pictures of. And so I wanted to use these instead of waste them. So I'm going to use them to stencil these texture paste from Vicky Boutin onto my page. And so my plan is to use up as much of it as I can without not necessarily wasting, because like I opened my blue the other day and it was getting dried out because that's just what happens when you don't use your stuff. So my plan is to use some of that with the texture paste. So I've got my paper, my picture, my mixed media, and my scraps. So let's see how this goes. So first things first, I'm going to put this mixed media down because obviously it's got to have some time to dry. Although, spoiler alert, I am going to work on a wet surface. I can't help it. I am impatient. I did consider it, and I did go pick out my stash. Like, I'm going to use some old stash, probably the oldest I've used yet. However, I figured I'd do it after I finished doing this so that it would have some time to at least dry and set a little. So first things first, I use the smallest circle that I had cut and I put it down, and then I just very carefully smeared that texture paste. And this blue one is called Blueberry Sour. This was a Vicky Boutin line of texture paste that she put out with, not Color Study, Sweet Rush. The orange is called Peach Sour. You may not notice at all because it's kind of super vague, but one of the pictures that I document is my nephew, and he's falling out of the sorry, I was trying to close that lid back. It wasn't closed good, and so that's why the blue one dried out, because I didn't get the lid closed very good. Anyway, so the little thing that they're playing in, I put it in order of the colors on that. So when that picture comes out, you'll see the top is green, then yellow, then orange, then blue. The colors don't match. The yellow is kind of close, and the orange, not really, because these are so neon. But I didn't care because I wanted to use them. I thought this was a bright, colorful picture. So there it is, completed. I love the way this turned out. There's a lot of texture to it. They almost look like planets. And of course, I don't have anything near, outer space type things to scrapbook. So like I said, outer space is always something fun to document with kids. And so I considered titling it something like Out of This World Fun or something, but it's not what I title it. But what I title it is very fitting of the two children in this picture, in these pictures. So I cut this Karen Foster paper down to 5 inches by 12 inches, and I put that down. I do use a string of Nouveau Deluxe adhesive down the right side of it since it's going over that texture paste. And I knew it would. That's why I didn't care that there was a bit of a mess. And you know what? I honestly wouldn't have cared if I had made a big mess with all of them. But honestly, other than that very bottom bright blue one, there's not really much of a mess at all. Considering I was using little pieces of paper, I'm excited. So I am putting the pictures down. My original plan was to mat it on the gear paper, that Karen Foster paper, and then put it on the black background, or the black paper, so that it would stand out better. Did I do that? No. I matted it on the dang black paper and then realized, oh yeah, good gravy, girl. So because part of that black background paper is going over where the black background paper is, I decided to use up a couple more scraps, and I used that orange alien paper and tucked it in different places. And now that I am looking at this, I do see one that I missed. There's a couple of gaps, and I don't mind that. I figured I'd cover them with some things, and I do. The only one that's still showing, I will cover. You're not going to see me do it because I literally just noticed it. But I'm going to just kind of Frankenstein those in there. And I just don't want to finagle too much because of the texture paste being wet still. And when I say wet, I mean like I put down a sticker or an embellishment in a minute and I'm like, So there are a couple of little fingerprints in here. But I really do love, now that they are setting and drying for the most part, they're raised in so many weird and interesting places. Just because of me being so cautious trying to lay them down and put it through that paper. I just think it's really cool, and it looks like planets. So I'm going to have to find some pictures in my future scrapping and do something like this again, because I just think that stands out so much against that black paper. So here is another mistake I make, doggone it. That gear paper that I'm using is shiny on one side. That's why I kept it, because it was such a cool shiny paper. Do I put it down on the shiny side facing out? No. I put glue on the paper because I didn't know where it was going to be going, or on the layout. And then when I put it down, I realized that's not shiny. Yeah. So there's a big blob of glue on there, and it's okay. I put most of it hanging off, and I'm going to cover it up with an embellishment or a sticker. So I was frustrated with myself, but like I have said many, many times, I am a professional boo-boo coverer or a boo-boo fixer, because I'm a professional boo-boo maker, and I have had to learn the ways, and that way I didn't have to completely either A, hate my layout, or B, redo them all the time. So that makes me happy that I find a way. And then I go ahead and tuck the rest of this little gear up here in the top, because I know the most of that glue part is going to get tucked in underneath, and then I'm going to put an embellishment there. So I went through all my embellishments that I had pulled out, and these are some old embellishments. So the first thing I put down is this little it's a Sandy Lion sticker, and it's from like a carnival, and it had like a ticket booth originally. All I had left are these 3 stickers of the balloons and that little wheel, the Ferris wheel. Now there is no date on the back of this, but they are yellowed on the back, like the paper is yellowed, and I'm pretty sure I've had these since early on in my scrapbooking career, and that was 1996. The next thing I put down was that oof, and that is from a set that I used the other day. And I thought I had used most of them. I had a couple left, and then I found this packaging, and this actually tells me that they are Tim Goldman embellishments, and they were by Momenta, and they're from 2008. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then this right here, the sunshine and that alien spaceship that I've got, those are from Crafter Square. Now, I know that I bought these probably in the last 5-6 years from the dollar store, but the back packaging, one says 2007, one that says 2012. So I know that I've probably bought them more like 2015, because I don't remember buying dollar store embellishments in the early 2010 area. I remember Miss Elizabeth's being there years ago, but not as much lately. And then these Crafter Square, I just remember maybe in the last 5 years purchasing those at the dollar store. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like, but these were like one of the first sets I ever bought. So I get those down on there, and I'm really happy with those. Now this right here, this is my shining star, you all, okay? These are pinwheels. I have 4 more left that I found when I was going through my stash. They are Miss Grossman's stickers, and On the back, it says copyrighted in 1989. Now, are these stickers from that old? I don't think so, but they are old because they are also yellowed on the back, but they were still pretty sticky. I did put a dot of Nouveau Deluxe on the back just in case. But I put 4 of those, I think, in there in just little places just because they're colorful and bright. And I did use that little embellishment that says all boy and an arrow pointing to my son. There was another one that said this way, but it didn't fit, and there was not really anywhere to go with that. So I still have a few embellishments on there. I decided to cover my pictures up and tap out some white linen Delusion shimmer spray because since I'm pretty much out in outer space, minus the sunshine, I know that doesn't fit. It's fine. I went ahead and tapped that out, and I liked that. And then I add my title down at the bottom, and Trouble is absolutely the most fitting title for these two, especially at this point in time. This is 2017, and they were like 8 years old probably by this time. And yeah, trouble, total troublemakers. So I put that word trouble down there, and then there's a black foam star in there, and I thought, oh, I'm going to add that up here at the top. And then I thought I would outweigh that with a white foam star from the back of that, and that came from Hello Joy, which is a thicker set. And that is it. I love how this turned out. It's so bright and cheerful. I mean, I did use up 2 pieces of scrap paper, 2 or 3, because a couple of those alien ones were smaller, plus that little gear. And I got some stash from way back in ye old yonder days. And I got to play with some mixed media and love the way that it turned out. My fingers may be in multiple colors right now, but it's fine. So I hope that you all enjoyed this. I hope that you all are diving into your stash and not just, pulling this or that, but just really focusing on trying to get some of that used up. Scraps as well. And there are people below in the description box, and they are hopping along off and on throughout the month with Kristin Crafts and her Baby Got Scraps. And so I hope you all will come back and see me again real soon. Have a great day and happy scrapping.